All right, a Canadian college girl named Elisa decided to take a solo trip to California to escape her busy school life. But instead of returning home on a round trip ticket, this chick ended up getting a one-way ticket to you-know-where. She was found 3 weeks after her disappearance, floating in the hotel water tank by a maintenance guy after guests complained about the weird tasting water coming through their faucets. Wait, not everyone likes their water with a hint of corpse flavoring? On January 26th, Elisa checked into the Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles, and that was her first mistake. She was supposed to stay in a shared hostel-style room, but was moved to a private room after her random roommates complained to the hotel staff about Elisa's odd behavior. Well, that's one way to get a hotel room upgrade, just start tweaking out a bit and voila. Elisa's parents were nervous to let her go on a vacation alone, so they had her call them every day to check in. Ah yes, they are those parents. Hi, Mom. No, I'm fine. You don't need to keep checking in on me. It's not like something bad's gonna happen and I'm gonna end up on a true crime mystery cooking show. Well, Elisa was supposed to check out of her room on January 31st, but if there's one thing I learned in college, it's that not everything works out as planned. Like, just because people say they're gonna split the Uber with you, doesn't mean they're actually gonna hit you with the Venmo. And in Elisa's case, she never checked out of her room as scheduled. At this point, Elisa's helicopter parents are starting to freak because they hadn't heard from their daughter. So they did what any concerned parents would do and called the cops. Now, normally, I would say they were overreacting, but in this case, their concerns were justified. The police arrived at the hotel and searched for Elisa, but they couldn't find her anywhere. Oh, I'm absolutely sure her parents were flipping out at this point. All right, so the next move for the investigators was to check the surveillance footage from the hotel cameras. And here's where shit gets cray. Homegirl had a full-on exorcism or spiritual experience or something along those lines. In the video footage, Elisa is seen getting into an elevator and pressing all the buttons. Okay, but everyone's done that at least once in their lives, or had at least thought about it. Like, those buttons are just begging to be pressed. But here's the weird part. When the doors don't close, Elisa sticks her head out and looks around. And for the next 2.5 minutes, she goes back and forth between peeking out into the hallway, waving to no one, making other weird gestures, and backing herself into the corner of the elevator. Then she steps out of the elevator all the way and is not seen again after that. What I want to know is, what were the hotel security guards doing while all this was going on? Like, was there no one there reviewing the footage in real time who could have checked in on the situation? And how was there no one else in the hallway or near the elevator to see this go down? Like, everyone knows hotel elevators are one of the best spots for prime people watching. Well, not much happened in Elisa's case until February 19th when her body was found. This is 3 weeks after her initial disappearance. Oh, and might I mention, she was discovered on the hotel premises by a maintenance guy. So I guess the police officer's search wasn't as thorough as it could have been. Like, is that not a little embarrassing that these investigators dedicated 3 weeks of their lives to tracking down Elisa and an hourly employee at the hotel found her in one day? But anyways, back to the story. Elisa's body was discovered floating in a cylindrical 4x8 foot water tank on the roof of the hotel. She didn't have any clothing on either. And after she was spotted by the maintenance guy, the tank actually had to be drained and cut open on the side to get her out. Also, let's take a moment to address the fact that she was literally floating in the water tank for 3 weeks. Whew, that must have smelled bad. And it probably didn't help the people who did the autopsy on Elisa. Like, I just imagine their boss coming in and being, wait, do medical examiners have bosses? They have to, right? Is it the police? Okay, anyway, whoever it was just came in and told them, hey, here's this girl that's been submerged in water for 21 days. Can you tell us the details on what happened? Thanks. And if Elisa's discovery doesn't already seem like a strange situation, just wait until you hear the reason she was found that day. Let's think about why a hotel would have a water tank on the roof. Numerous guests complained to the hotel staff about low water pressure. Some mentioned that it tasted a bit weird, and one couple even said that the water would come out of their faucet with a black coloring before turning clear. Wait, black water? Oh, I would have checked out of my hotel room so fast and left them a nasty Yelp review. Like this one time I was staying in a hotel and I was asleep and then someone knocks on my door at 3 in the morning. So I go to the peephole and I see 3 guys standing there and they say, we're looking for a water leak. And I was like, yeah, right, you're trying to kidnap me. So I went back to bed. Next day, find out that the guy in the room next to me was drunk, left his sink faucet acid on and it ended up flooding down to the bar, so they were trying to figure out what was going on. Let's just say I wasn't a happy camper when I found out about that. Alright, so this Blackwater drinking couple also mentioned that they didn't say anything at first because they thought that was just how the water in LA was, which totally gets LA wrong. We're known for being able to see the air, not taste the water. Duh. Elisa's clothes were also found in the tank that day, and there seemed to be no signs of another person's involvement. But have the investigators ever heard of someone covering up a crime? Happens fairly often, but they should already know that. After Elisa's autopsy was performed, medical examiners concluded her passing as accidental. She apparently suffered from bipolar disorder, so that was believed to be the main cause. Am I missing something here? How would that lead her to take a dive into the cramped hotel water tank without any clothes on? And they were okay with ruling out foul play just like that? Like, they thought it made more sense that a girl would squeeze into a water tank on the roof of the hotel instead of being forced there by someone else? I'm not too sure about that. The coroner's office also mentioned that they couldn't do a full examination because they were unable to analyze the fluid from her decomposing body. Yeah, floating in the water for 21 days will do that to a person. Dang, this is getting more confusing by the minute. Elisa was reportedly on medication for her bipolar disorder, and at the time of her autopsy, examiners found traces of her stimulant meds, but not her stabilizers. This led the coroners to believe that Elisa's lack of proper medication caused her to hallucinate or experience a manic episode of sorts, where she may have believed someone was following her. So this might explain her unique elevator activity, but how does that connect to casually sneaking into the water tank? Investigators theorize that Elisa's hallucination could have led her to hide from her imaginary enemy in the water tank for safety. But a lot of people didn't buy this idea, including some of the hotel employees, Elisa's family, and random people on the internet who followed her case. According to the Cecil Hotel staff, the water tank Elisa was discovered in is not easy to get to. It's on the private area of the hotel roof that can only be accessed by employee keys. And even though there's a fire escape that Elisa could have used to get to the roof, alarms would have gone off, which they never did. She also would have to get on a ladder to reach the water tank door, and there were none found in the area that night. As if it wasn't already clear that this theory is faulty, the door to the water tank was closed upon her discovery, which couldn't have been done solo. So this is leading me to believe that one of the hotel employees did this. Maybe they were mad she got a free room upgrade, or she left her room a bit messy for the maid. I mean, that seems more logical to me than hallucinating an entire person chasing her around the hotel. And I'm not the only one who thinks this whole situation is sketchy, because after Elisa's creepy elevator video was released to the public, it popped off. And by that, I mean it got over 3 million views in less than 2 weeks. Hey guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to my elevator video. Thanks! Her case gained a large public following, and people started coming up with theories of their own. Here are some of the most popular ones. Elisa had one too many drinks or was on a hallucinogen, which she was a 21-year-old college student, so that would make sense. And although there were no additional substances or traces of alcohol found in her system to validate this theory, some people thought she could have taken a rare cocktail that wouldn't appear on a standard toxicology screening. The next theory? Ghosts. Yep, everyone knows all hotels are haunted, and the Cecil Hotel has a history of spine-chilling occurrences that would lead to spirits roaming the halls that may have tormented Elisa. I do not mess with ghosts. One time when I was little, my mom brought me and my sisters over to her coworker's house in the middle of the night to look for ghosts. Like, they literally set up all the equipment and everything, and I swear to you that there was a little girl ghost there messing with the blinds because no one else was over there and they were moving. And I'm still traumatized to this day. Also, what mom brings their little girl over to a ghost hunting excursion? Love you, Mom. Another popular theory has to do with another person being involved. Since the autopsy wasn't very thorough, some people believe there could have been physical abuse that was not accounted for. They thought there may have been an actual person Elisa was trying to escape from, who eventually led her to the roof and wiped her out by forcing her into the tank. I'm no professional, but this seems to make more sense than the hallucination thing. Oh, and here's one of my favorite theories. Elisa was frustrated with the elevator's malfunction. There's not much else to that theory to explain how she ended up in the tank, but I couldn't not mention it. Like, it really do be like that sometimes. Those buttons can be annoying. But the mysteries don't stop there. Since Elisa's passing, posts had been shared on her Tumblr account, and while these could have been scheduled posts, her phone was not found near the tank or in her room at the time of her discovery. Someone definitely could have snatched up her phone and kept things fresh on her feed. Hey, gotta keep those followers engaged. Woo! Did it! So what ended up happening? Nothing really. A few months after Elisa's discovery, her parents filed a lawsuit against the hotel owners. They claimed the hotel failed to protect their child by giving her access to the rooftop. But 2 years later, the suit was dismissed, and there have been no more advancements made in Elisa's case. But there was a Netflix series made about it that's been a hot topic amongst Netflix watchers, aka just about everyone in the world. I'm still stuck on the fact that medical examiners were so quick to claim that Elisa's big adios was an accident. Literally nothing about it seems like an accident to me. Like, here, let me accidentally hide in the corner of the elevator, sneak into a restricted area of the hotel without setting off any alarms, magically fly to the water tank door and take a plunge. Also, isn't there a hotel pool to do that in? So I'm leaning more towards the ghost theory because multiple people have purposefully and accidentally passed away at the Cecil Hotel. There have also been at least 2 mass executioners who lived there, including Richard Ramirez, aka the Night Stalker, who was known for knocking out at least 13 women in the 80s. Apparently people at the hotel would see him come back covered in vital fluid and not do anything about it. Don't you think you should call the police or at least kick him out of his room? But at the same time, the staff probably didn't want to kick him out because if they did, they may have become his next victims. Ooh, or maybe some of them actually were his victims. Another famous slayer who lived at the hotel for a bit was Jack Unterweger, who terminated at least 3 people in LA during his time there. And after that, he went on to slay 9 more people. If you do the math, that's at least 12 people, which is a lot. And the dude was staying at the hotel during some of them. Oh, also, Elizabeth Short, who was the victim of the famous Black Dahlia execution, was allegedly seen at the hotel bar shortly before she was knocked out. But that's not even a touch of the crazy shit that's gone down at the Cecil Hotel. In 1962, one woman jumped out of the window on the 9th floor, landed on another person who was walking on the street, and took them out with her. Okay, it's bad enough that this woman jumped to her own demise, but to take a random stranger out with her is just selfish. They didn't ask for that. Also, what are the odds that of all the places this girl lands, it's on another human? And did the person she fell on not hear or see her coming? Like, the woman had to be screaming or something. Oh, and get this. One of the old hotel managers claims that 80 people had passed away in the 10 years she worked there from 2007 to 2017. 80 people in 10 years. And that was pretty recent too. So I can't imagine how many people have zonked out at the hotel in total. And it makes me wonder why the manager stayed there so long. All these people kicking the bucket had to have taken a toll on her, unless she had something to do with some of them. So the hotel is currently closed, but plans to reopen in the future. And the moment they open, I'm booking a room. Oh, maybe I can channel Elisa and ask her what really happened because I am still baffled about her whole disappearance. Well, I could go on forever about the Cecil Hotel, but I also have this cake to eat. You know what would go well with this? A tall glass of black water.